Is your fermentation stuck? Is it done yet?
Can I keg or bottle my beer now?
My FG is off by a few points from where my recipe says it should be.
One way to be sure your fermentation is complete is to perform a forced fermentation test. What is a forced fermentation test? This is a useful and easy-to-use tool to know where your final gravity should be. You'll want to have the following items on hand: a flask or container that can hold at least 500 milliliters of wort, including headspace room for krausen, aluminum foil or foam stopper, a stir plate, and magnetic stir bar. This is optional. You just need a way to aerate the sample, and a hydrometer. Here's how it works. Take a sample of your wort, cooled to yeast pitching temperatures, in a sanitized flask or container. You want enough to take a few gravity readings, so I usually take 500 milliliters as extra insurance. Add 15 milliliters or 1 tablespoon of yeast slurry or 3 grams of dry yeast to the wort. Cover the flask or container with foil or a foam stopper. You're going to aerate the sample pretty frequently during the test. Place the sample in a warm area to promote rapid fermentation. For ales, I keep the temperatures at 24 to 27 degrees Celsius or 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. For lagers, I perform this test at 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Gently agitate the sample as often as possible. To do this, you can use either a stir plate or the shaken not stirred method used by the likes of Denny Kahn for yeast starters. After 24 to 48 hours, degas the sample and take a hydrometer reading. This will provide you with an idea of what the final gravity should be for this wort. And if your main fermentation doesn't quite reach this value, that's okay. A few gravity points won't make a huge difference. However, if you notice a large difference, this will help in troubleshooting the problem. For example, if your forced fermentation test result is 1010, but your main fermentation stops at 1025 for several days, that points to some issues with yeast health. You may try to pitch more yeast or warm the temperature to get things going again. But if your forced fermentation test result for that beer is 1022, you can rest assured that your fermentation is pretty much complete. You just have a lot of unfermentable sugars left in the beer. Proceed to bottling or kegging and sit back, relax. Don't worry, have a home brew. This test has come in handy for me, especially when brewing new recipes or big beers like wheat wine. Have you seen that grain to glass video? If not, I'll link to it in the cards above, as well as the description below. Let me know if you've performed a forced fermentation test. Cheers!